yourself to us?
Hi, my name is Christina Wen. I am a Chinese recording mixer, supervising sound editor based in LA. My job is to be a part of the post-sound department and create sound for films and TVs.
And I'm Mary Gillespie. I'm with Studio Review, and we're out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, nice to meet you.
We're really happy to have you. I was very interested in your panel. I didn't realize that much went into sound.
Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't think about that. What would be your favorite part of doing this?
So that's really awesome that you said that, because a lot of the time for post-sound teams, if you don't notice there's any sound work done, it's normally when we did a really great job, because we made the audience feel like you were there, you were in the story. Sorry, would you mind repeating your question?
Just what your favorite part is of doing this job?
Yes. So I grew up as a musician. I've always really loved sound and music. I've also grew up kind of as a film nerd, really loved watching movies. All of those elements combined to be able to be in the film and TV industry and have a creative space using sound as my language really is what I feel passionate about, my job. And get to collaborate with filmmakers is also another thing that just really makes me feel excited when a filmmaker comes into the mixer room and tell me how they want to feel, and I'm able to perform that with sound for them so that they can see their vision, their story comes to life. So that's what I really love about my job.
So are you one of the ones that takes like the background noise, you take that kind of stuff out too?
Yes.
You work on all of that to make sure it actually... So when we're watching a movie,
yes,
and it's an outside movie and there's babies screaming in the background or there's people talking, that kind of stuff goes away.
Yes, so a lot of that are what we put in. And normally we work at, so I'm never alone. It's never just me, one person, who's making sound for a film. It's also one of the most collaborative industry because we heavily rely on team. We have somebody who specializes in dialogue work, somebody who specializes in sound effects, specializes in Foley, recreating all that. Then we have people that are specializing in editing the sound and people who are mixing the sound. So every project, there's at least 4 to 5 people that are on a sound team that's really creating all this sounds that you're hearing and you're watching. Any people that are drinking from a cup and putting the cup down, all those sounds are put in artificially a lot of the times. We preserve as much, like majority of the dialogue from set that were shot, and there's a dialogue editor's job to clean all of that up to make sure the noise further changed, to make sure there's not cutout, there's no dropout, and then we have Foley team like putting in people's footsteps, they're walking that sometimes not necessarily are shot on set, like sound wise. So we will have to recreate all of that, and then any like for Shadows, which is the show that I got to talk about today, like there will be supernatural characters where a whole character will be a ghost, so that any sound that's attached to him is all recreated artificially. This person moving, the clothing, the pocket watch jingling, all of that is recreated by us.
How do you find the sounds? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So when you're, like a ghost movie,
yes.
How do you figure out what that's going to sound like?
So my job is a mixer, and also sometimes I supervise and do dialogue editorial side of the thing as well. But we have a specialized job called a sound designer, and I have very luckily in my career to get to work with a lot of really talented sound designers. What they do is they have a lot of sound effects library. Some of them will go out and do field recording themselves. I've actually started doing field recording myself a little bit as well, because I grew up in China, so anytime I'm in home visiting my parents, I just see this as an opportunity to capture sound from my country and my ambience, that not to go to waste. So a lot of the times those are coming from sound libraries and a lot of field recordings that people do. And then Foley would be a team that actually just record all the sound, the human movements that you see in the show, and those are the things that are edited and then cut into the show.
It's just fascinating. I had no idea.
Yes.
So when you were living in China, did you do the same type of thing there, or did you do it when you came to the States?
I did not. So I actually came to the States when I was pretty young for school, and since then my whole introduction to this side of the industry and world happened in America. And as soon as I graduated from college, I moved right out to LA to get my foot in the industry and get started. And then since then, I've just been working in the film industry and never looked back.
Never looked back. How long have you been in the industry?
So I started living in LA and working in LA since 2018. So this will make this year my 7th year years, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, yes.
Wow. So you were here right before that pandemic hit.
I was right here, yeah, right before the
my
pandemic
goodness.
hit. And I would say like I've also dabbed into the video game realm of work as well a little bit. During the pandemic, because so much production was shut down, actually a lot of the animation and video game work, once people figured out how to work from home, like we really kept going as well.
Yeah. So you were able to get into the video. What video games have you worked on?
I worked on video game like League of Legends, Call of Duty, so a lot of those franchise I worked on. The Last of Us, I've also worked on the second The Last of Us, so a little bit of that. Yeah.
What would be your favorite project that you've worked on?
Oh, that's really hard to
Picking
pick.
your favorite child, right?
Yeah, I don't think I can just pick one. And I'll tell you why I can't pick one. Because any project, once you start doing sound for them and you're meeting and working with the directors and the writer who created this whole story from scratch, even for documentary, who people just dedicated so much of their life to follow a story and create a story. Once you start working with them, you get so involved in the story yourself, and you see how much hard work was put into this. I think at the end of the project, there's always a sense of pride and joy, and just also proud of the filmmakers, because being in the post-production, we're really on the project for a much shorter time than people who are on it since the beginning. The writers and the creators and producer, directors who have been there probably sometimes years before I even get to be on a project. So I think meeting those people truly makes me feel really inspired when someone's that dedicated to tell a story and bring a story forward. Which is another reason I can't pick a favorite, because every project I've worked on is somebody's lifelong hard work.
I get that.
Yeah, and that makes me love the project as much, just because getting to see how much dedication they put in the film or the series or the documentary, that just makes me feel really inspired.
Right. Now, do you go on set, or are you pretty much in the studio?
I'm pretty much always in the studio, but for so I do a lot of independent film works. When a lot of my independent filmmakers that works with me, they've known me for so long, so they actually involved me very early on. So I get the script before it's even started shooting, so that I can see the script and already come up with sonic ideas. Specifically, I want to talk about this filmmaker that I got to collaborate with, Anjani. She has just wrote and directed this wonderful short for a film that they shot in India. So that was a project that, I wasn't on set, but I was very involved with everybody on set, because I told her that's talk to your production sound mixer, that's record natural sound from the city, from the ocean, from the night market, all of that. Let's record all of that while you were there and collect those samples for what we could use in post-production. So there will be projects that I get involved very, very early on. And I personally really like that, because I get to be really, really creative with the filmmakers, and we're thinking about sound very early on. And eventually sound becomes a very important part of the story as well.
Very good.
Yes.
Is there a genre that you'd like to work in? Like, I know horror, every genre is a little bit different with sound.
Yes.
Is there any that you really would be interested in?
Yes, I think I'm such a big fan of the horror genre. I'm such a big fan of thriller and drama, and also very much right now more than ever, I think documentaries are a very important part of my day-to-day job, and I'm very blessed to be working with got to work with a lot of documentary filmmaker. So I think, a little bit of everything, but those are probably the genres that I really find myself thriving in as well.
Do you have anything else? Neither. I think that was it for us.
Thank
This is
you.
great. Thank you so much. I did. I was sitting in your panel and I was like, wow, I had no idea. When I think sound, I think, mixing and that. I don't think of the dropping the table and that. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.